Y'all, what is up? Long time no see. This is your boy Mike, and I'm here with a new type of content. Doing podcasts now, so trying to get out some podcasts frequently. And I got my homie on set today. We got Jinson. Say what up, Jinson.
Hey, what up?
And so we're just gonna be talking about what's our topic today?
International marriage.
We're gonna be talking about international marriage, which is something Jinson and I we're both learning more and more about every single day. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys want to know about this. So make sure, before we even get started, make sure you like the video. And if you continue to like the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So with no further ado, Jinson, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
And so I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. Well, we all know you're married.
Yes.
I'm married. And you are in an international marriage.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Just like you.
Just like me.
Yeah.
So your husband is from
Australia.
Okay, so he's Australian. Mm-hmm. Okay, and my wife is Korean. They're right. My wife is Korean. Yeah. So tell me, how is the international marriage life for you, in your opinion, so far?
I love being in an international marriage, and I think it's really awesome. And I mean, there are challenges definitely that maybe non-international marriage couples don't come across. Yeah. But I think, in my opinion, there's more pros than cons. And I think just like all marriages do, there's challenges and there are things that we need to overcome. But I am loving it so far.
How long have you actually been married?
So my 1 year anniversary is actually just coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, only 5 days or something left.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah. So far, I think I've been married for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
And so, I would say for me, for international marriage, it's just been like a whirlwind of awesome things, but a lot of confusing things as well, especially just we're culturally different. But yeah, at the same time, we click well. So there's a lot of good times, but there's a lot of rough times too.
It's true.
So in your opinion, what would you say is probably one of the best things, or maybe some of the best things about being in an international marriage?
Yeah. I would say I'm a traveler. I love traveling. And the fact that if you're in an international marriage, traveling is a part of you and part of your life. It's like a given thing. Yeah. So I feel like if you love traveling, this is for you. Not that it's everything you get. That's the only thing there is in international marriage, but it just becomes a part of your life.
I know. I love that part about it because I just love the fact that for me, I've traveled around a lot, and I know Rose hasn't really traveled around a lot. She's been to the U.S. before, she's been to Japan before, but after getting married, then it's we've gone to the U.S., we stayed in Korea, but we've been to Japan, we've been to the Philippines, we've been to Singapore, been to Indonesia. So it's just we've been able to just move around. I guess that's just the beauty of being open-minded in your marriage. Then you'll end up being open-minded and going to new places as well. So I think that's one of the coolest parts about it.
Being just a traveler in a different country is different than when you have family in two different countries. If I went to Australia just to travel without having Aaron's family, it would be completely different, right? So having families in two countries and feeling at home in two different countries, I think is a big merit. I could, if I get sick of one country, I could just go off. I mean, of course we have responsibilities, but when we just want to run off, the fact that we have a place to go if something doesn't go right,
it feels great, right? Because I always tell myself if things go really bad in South Korea, we know that we can go to the U.S.
Exactly.
Right, and that's the beauty about it is that, and also not only can you go to that country, but you have a support system there as well, right? So I know my mom is there, my dad is there, my family, my siblings will be there to take care of us to help get us started. The one thing we were talking about with my mom the other day is if we were to move back to the U.S., and we decided to move to Atlanta, right? I can call my siblings. And then my siblings can help me get a house there already. So by the time I actually fly in, get to the airport, I get the keys to the house and go straight to my new place. Just Just like that.
No worries.
No worries.
Yeah, we got you.
That would never happen if you were going to just start new in a brand new place, right? Would never happen.
Yeah. Like just hearing you, like the fact that there's an open possibility of anything, like what if?
Yeah.
Like if we weren't married or if we weren't in an international marriage, there would be, I mean, people would still have like what if about like what if I moved to the US or whatever, but I feel like that is such a low possibility.
Right.
But for us, it's actual. Like we're always thinking, what if we moved back to Australia? What if we stayed in Korea for how many years? What's going to be like our future in 10 years? Like there's so many open possibilities and I like that about it. Yeah. I know that some people might not enjoy that because they like having a set plan for like the next 10 years or 20 years. But I think I'm that type of person that love that open possibility and not knowing our future so much.
I mean, that's nice. Yeah. You know, for me, I know just living back in the U.S. in the same town. I mean, some people, you might know some people like this, like they grew up in a town, they want to stay in that town. That's just their life. Yeah. Which, you know, if that's someone's like, if that's what they want, then that's fine. You know, that's what they want. But like for me, I needed that change. I needed that adventure. And so like this offers that adventure for me. Yeah. Right? It never really gets boring. Yeah. It never gets boring.
Exactly. And that's the beauty.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah. Like, but the thing is, like, I never knew I wanted that until I met Aaron. Like I thought that I would marry a Korean man and live in Korea for the rest of my life. But as soon as I met Aaron and I found that these were the expectations or these were what comes with international marriage, I was like, this is so good. Like I love it. Yeah. But until I got into it, I didn't know. I thought I would just be living in Korea for the rest of my life. And now if I think back at it, I'm a bit like, I don't think I would have liked that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But I would have never known.
All right. So, of course, we know that there are some good things about international marriages as well. But with good things, there's always tough parts, right? Sure. What is something that you've noticed that's been challenging for having that international marriage?
So, I think there's a lot of sacrificing in international marriage. And with COVID-19, I think it's come above what it's usually is. Like for example, my husband, he's Australian, but he's living in Korea with me because my workplace is here. He has the freedom to work anywhere in the world, which is great, but he's still sacrificing that support system and that company that he would have in Australia to live with me in Korea. So I'm always very thankful, but it sort of worked for us. So it wasn't a problem, because we could always travel back to Australia when we had the time. But with COVID, it's
made everything so much worse.
Yeah, it's not really possible. And ever since our wedding, he hasn't been able to go back to Australia. So it's tough for him, but it's also tough for me, I think, emotionally, because I'm always constantly just feeling bad for him. Right. You know, like I have this burden that I need to do better for him, and I need to like sacrifice more things for him because of the fact that he's here for me.
Right. It's been really tough because I haven't been able to see my family. And typically I see them every year. Yeah. Like at least once a year. So the last time I went home was last Christmas, right? So it's been about a year. So which would typically be normal, but knowing that I can't go is what's tough. It's, you know, me being able to choose, you know, like I don't want to go home yet is one thing. Yeah. But knowing that if I go, then I'm going to sacrifice 2 weeks of just quarantining, right? And then coming back, sacrificing 2 weeks. I mean, that's a month of my life right there, just staying indoors, right? Yeah. And then also, like, for me, something that I feel has been the hardest was dealing with family issues and you're far away. Yeah. And because you can't get back. And typically, like, if you can get back, you'll get back within the day, like within a day. Yeah. But it's still, you can't get there immediately, right? And like in 2017, I think June-ish, July-ish, I lost an uncle. And, you know, I wanted to go back home. Mom said, you know, it's already happened. We're going to bury him in a few days. By the time you get here, it'll be too late and everything. So then I ended up staying. And like next time I got back home, you know, I visited the grave and everything. And I felt terrible about it. But it's just when family members are sick, family members are possibly dying, you can't get back that easily, right? And I think with just on top of COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just been a monster to deal with because you know, one, you can't get back quickly, but then two, you literally cannot get back.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, you cannot go. And so like I've been struggling with that, you know? And then I would say, and I know I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry, but just one of the biggest things that really hurts is also when you have aging parents.
Yeah. Can't spend time.
You can't, because it's like when you're younger, you don't really think about it, right? You don't think about it at all. But as you start to grow, you were starting to notice that, like, and even as a teenager, I knew my parents weren't invincible. But like, as you start to grow older, you realize they are also still growing older. And, you know, they are going to need someone to kind of take care of them. And when you're far away, like, I'm blessed to have siblings that are back home who can, like, do it. But then, like, well, when you're far away, you realize, dang, I can't be right there for my parents, right? And then, like, I have older siblings, too. Like, my siblings are, like, at least a decade older than me. So then now it's like, you know, crap, they're getting older, too. And it's just like, what is happening? And I'm not there to do anything about it.
It's tough, I think. Like, as you said, like, as if you have your parents aging or your family members aging, like, every day, every year, every celebration counts, you know? And you feel like you're missing out on them. And the fact that with COVID, like, there's this emotional, like, distance as well. Like, the fact that you can possibly miss out on something really important, I think that is a big struggle. Like, I haven't really experienced that because I've been staying in Korea ever since, but I think I had a glimpse of that experience when I was in Dubai as a flight attendant. Because as a flight attendant, I don't have control over my schedule. So I had to miss one of my closest friends' weddings because my flights, I couldn't swap out my flights or things like that. And I'm sure there's a sense of that, like the fact that you can't control.
You can't control it, and you just can't be there.
It sucks.
It does. Okay, so I know we talked about what is the good things about international marriage. We talked about what are some of the toughest parts. What advice do we have, or do you have, or do we? I guess me too. What advice do you have in regards to people who might be seeking that international relationship / marriage?
I think my biggest advice would be that if you want an international marriage, you must be open-minded. I think that's like a key factor to have, because I've seen a couple who were married and they went into that relationship saying that the husband will stay in Korea forever. That was like that was like the only reason that she had accepted this marriage, right?
No. Yeah.
But after a few years of marriage, you know, things change, circumstances change, and he wanted to move back to the States or his country or a different country.
Oh, don't tell me he doubled back on that.
Yeah, and so he said, hey, what do you think? Like, can we do this? Can we not? And she was so adamant that no, this is not what we said when we got into the relationship. So they were struggling a lot, and seeing that just made me see like how difficult it is when international couples are not open-minded or set such strict standards before they get into the marriage. I think that's not even possible.
What is your opinion? So I'm just curious. This has nothing to do with this. What is your opinion on spouses who refuse to learn the other spouse's language? I'm sorry, it's just like in terms of refusing, refusing. Like they do not want to learn it. Is within their power. They were like,
that's just weird. Like that's just like, why? I can't even wrap my head around it. Like that's just, I think there's no respect to your spouse because like, okay, there's like not being able to learn or like being difficult to learn is one thing, but then refusing to learn and just is another thing.
Because I've definitely seen like foreign men in Korea that were like, they are so like super Western minded, where it was like they only felt like they needed English, and I think part is because like their relationship was like founded in English.
Yeah.
So then they were like, okay, I just need to.
Yeah.
We're just gonna speak English for forever, right? But like I don't know, like I've seen it before, and it's just like, wow, like some of the kids, their children, they'll speak Korean, and like and the wife will speak Korean to the kids, but then like the husband's just like, ooh, like just. All they can do is English, and so like I don't know, like I wouldn't want that for me. Like I would want to be able to engage in that conversation with my kids as well in Korean. But I just want to know your opinion, just because I saw it earlier. I saw it earlier, and I was just like, really?
I don't understand that, but I do understand that for some people, learning a language is really difficult than others.
That is also true.
My husband, for example, it's hard for him to learn a language, and for we don't really need the second language, right? So like there's that. I think a lot for some people, language isn't very interesting.
Right.
So unless they need it to make a living or whatever, it's hard to get around. But I know there are some people who think there's no point in learning it. So that's just completely.
By the way, I didn't ask that question because
I know. I'll make sure.
I just see it all over. I just see it all the time. So I was just like, oh. But then after I asked the question, I was like, oh.
As soon as you asked the question, I was like, oh.
My advice, I guess, to those who are seeking it is to realize that it's more than what, like, it's great. It's a great thing to have, but it's also, you shouldn't underestimate it. And I feel that just in people that I've known, they've gone into relationships with thinking that this person is like someone from my own country, right? Or this is something that I've noticed, not just in relationship, but just between just people, like foreigners, friends with Koreans, is that they assume because this person speaks English, this person is the same as me. Right? Because that language, they speak that language really well. They seem to forget that person's from another culture, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, they assume all these things about this person and how this person might feel, and then they end up, like, just having a big falling out, or they end up just, like, always, like, clashing.
Right.
And I know, like, even for me, like, I clashed a lot with Rose in the very beginning. Like, when we first started living together, like, it was literally, like, almost every day we were just at it fighting. And then it was at one point that it finally just stopped. And then, like, every now and then, like, we would fight. But, like just like with any couple, right? Every now and then you would fight.
Yeah.
But then it was just like cats and dogs, man. We were just, like, boxing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can definitely relate. Like, Aaron and I had to adjust a lot of our thinking. Even though his, like, culture, like, ethnically,
got you.
Thank you. Yeah. Ethnically Asian. So we have a lot of similarities, even though he's Australian, born and raised. But still, like, the way that I think about family, for example, or like different traditions that I might have or values, like, we definitely did clash. And we had to just accept that. So it was a work in progress, still work in progress. But, like, the fact,
Yeah.
I relate.
Okay, so any final thoughts you might have on this topic? Or anything last thing you want to say?
I mean, if you're in love, no one can stop you. But just keep an open mind, I think, and expect more commitment than others, and just stick to it. And I think you will be just fine.
That's good. I think I would say mine is.
Yeah.
It's great. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Yeah.
At times, so many times, it's going to suck. But it's worth it.
I vouch for that.
Hey. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah? And if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure that you smash that like button as well as subscribe. We're going to be doing some more of these just because I think they're fun. Just a chance for us to kind of just get the talk, for them to know me, for them to know you as well, and anybody else we have on the show. But until the next video, you guys make sure you be cool. Peace.